So, I usually spread out my tier lists. I don't plan to do main channel content, otherwise I would just not be doing this all in one day. This would be way too much. So this is going to be a brief tier list for the second channel. And I will probably have my next full tier list after the next season drops, which should be infinitely more interesting. This will still be a pretty interesting list though, so let's get started. I'm not going to bother putting too much effort into this one, because I mostly just want to have a log of my thoughts on the meta on every patch is kind of the main reason I do this, because when I look back to do meta histories and all that other stuff, it'll be very helpful for me. So, yeah. Top tiers. 3 bombs. Burst, Splat, and Fizzy. If I had to put these in an order, probably this right now. I'd say Burst Bomb is still probably the best bomb. So yeah, pretty simple. Um, Second, I think up close is probably Suction, Torpedo, and I still think Beacon's really good, but I don't know if I think it's this good. It's not too difficult for me. Autobomb, and here's where I'll put Beacon and mine. And maybe Wall? Maybe auto goes up here. No, I don't think auto is enough to be. And then here we got our, like, useful but not too good. I'll put mist up there, but barely, and then dart. Yeah. That seems good. Pretty easy for me, honestly. Yeah. I think sub-open balance hasn't really changed for a while. And for the most part, things are very, self-explanatory and simple. I don't really see that changing. So, yeah. Works for me. Alright, specials. Yes, there's a second cooler. Gonna ignore it. Okay. Best special in the game now is Missile. Undoubtedly, Missile is the best special in the entire game now. Like, Crab is now toned back. Crab is still good, but, like, Missile is now absolutely the best. There's just no way. After like Missile already was pretty good against Crab before, and now it's gonna make it have even more lag. And also now if your Crab gets broken, the lag might help out too. Though I guess he can swim, so it's like I think this is just like absolutely the best. Uh do I think Crab is good enough to still be in the same tier? Actually, no. I think Crab is a tier below, and then Booyah a tier below that. And then Wave on the same tier as Booyah. You don't see missiles used that much? Because they're on garbage. We'll get to that. Think, like, very small gap between these 3 tiers right now, is what I'd say. And after this is where I think things get a bit difficult. Um... Oh, here... Oh, wait, Rain. Do I think Rain is this good? Flongza is not garbage. Flongza is an okay zones weapon. Why is Booyah better than Strike? Booyah could be used to protect yourself, so it has way more utility. It's also way easier to push with your own Booyah Bomb due to the travel time. Yeah, Rain is really good, but I don't, like, Rain's either here or here. Because in these maps, you just can't avoid it. It lasts forever, and you have your main gun, so it's just a constant, like, plus half a player in a team fight. Except, unlike Wavebreaker, you can't just kill it, and it functions as a better entry tool. Like, it's so good. Whale would be here. Like, Whale is one that's weak enough to not be that good. I'll talk about Strike when I get to it. I think I'll put Whale. I think Whale is like the weakest displacement special that doesn't need buffs. I also think Zuka is kind of nice right now, and Inkjet. I feel like Zip makes it here, but like barely makes it here. Really barely. No way, Jet is higher than Zip? Yeah, Jet is really good right now. Like, Jet's extremely reliable. 43% is a large buff, guys. I don't know how to tell you. And Zuka has reliability now that it can be used on Crab. Zuka just, like, if Zuka had a little bit more duration, I'd honestly put it here. It's pretty close. Kraken? Kraken is not in this tier. Kraken and Shrike I'm gonna have to talk about a bit. Okay, all this looks normal so far. I think Zip is just... I think the better we get at the game, the lower Zip is gonna go, to be honest. Like, I think Zip will end up being in B tier. But right now, people aren't good enough against it. But, like, the counterplay to Zip is developing more than Zip, like, users' own options. And I think that's just going to continue. Like, people will get better at dealing with Zipcaster. And I think it'll go down here, eventually. It's probably a hot take, but that's what I think is going to happen with time. Right now, it's probably fine. And I don't think it'll ever be bad. But I do think, like, eventually this is going to go down. About Bubbler coming back? Please no, we don't need HP specials in this game. But yeah, anyway, Jet's very good at walling people out. Jet's cool, because it's almost an entry tool. Like, if they made this thing do better damage against other objects, it would go here. Because it would also be a way to get you in more, which would be really, really cool. And right now it kind of helps with re-entry, but it can't be, like, you run multiple of this to get in. You can run multiple of this to get in. Absolutely multiple of this if it's on the right weapon, multiple of this if one of the weapons is a heavy spalling because heavy can use it as an entry tool. You can't run multiple of any of these. Like, A tier downward is where two of the same special does not really work. Everything here can be two stacked, and you'll be fine. Down here, I think you cannot have more than one. So, like, Zuka, Jet, and Zip are all just unreliable. And Whale is more reliable, but Whale doesn't do anywhere near as much as these. Which, good, it shouldn't. You don't want a Whale that's as powerful as Missiles. Missiles should tell you that. I think after here is where we get, like, a sizable gap. In fact, I'll actually label, like, gap. I think from this tier to lower, the specials get significantly worse. In fact, I think I almost want to put Zip in this gap tier. But I'll keep it up here for now. But, like, this is, like, after this, I think this power of specials kind of tanks a bit. Like, I think this is the new gap that I would put between the stronger and weaker specials. I think everything below here starts to get a good bit worse. So let's talk about the ones that are, like, close to being okay. Bubble. And I guess we can rename this. So, Bubble has a few issues. One of them is that every special here beats Bubble. Missiles demolishes it, Crab demolishes it, Booyah demolishes it. Wave is the only thing that doesn't, but Wave can both hit people in the bubble, and it does good damage to the bubble. It has an 8 times multiplier to this, by the way. And then Rain also just... You know, you think Rain isn't that bad, but keep in mind, Rain is just extra damage on Bubble. Like, it is Rain plus other things, which is the same thing with these. Both of these might not be as much damage to it, but both of these are plus other things to shred Bubble. So Bubble is just very easy to break, especially with a lot of the meta weapons, and the meta specials just deal with it. And it's kind of in a weird spot, because if you give Bubble more HP, main weapons will not be able to deal with it at all. So, like, I don't know what they're gonna do to Bubble. My only idea is make Bubble have less HP, and then also make, like, all of these do less damage to it. Like, literally all 5 of these do less damage to Bubble, and this has less HP. I think that's the only way you can kind of balance it better. But right now, there's so many things that shred it. And then the other problem is this. Tri-Strike I don't think is that good right now, but if Bubble were to ever be in a spot you would use 2 of these, yeah, you just pick this and this goes down. Tri-Strike just dumpsters Bubble. It's not even funny. So yeah. Standing Bubble protects Fraying Storm? Yes, but it does just do a lot of damage to it. Yeah, you could argue that, like, it can take a special to deal with the bubble, but the difference is the special used to deal with the bubble will get other value. If you missile and you deal with the bubble, you don't just deal with the bubble, you also displace people. You also have half your crab. You also displace people. You also have a wave breaker going off. You also have a storm going off. The bubble's gone and it's nothing. It's not an even trade. Even if you use a special for it, every special you use for the bubble will break it and do more. And so that's kind of the problem. Do I think Tri-Strike is here? Yeah, I guess Tri-Strike would be here. So, I don't think Tri-Strike is awful, but there's been a few things that make me think lower. One, the ability to have your main gun when specials are going off is very strong. 2, your ability to play off of your own strikes is really bad. 3, it's very easy to punish strike users. 4, I forgot what I was going to say. 4, the throwing range is actually kind of limited. I think the main traits that Strike has that can make it better is it's very good against Bubble, Wave, and Booyah. Bubble, Wave, and Booyah at hard counters. So, if those 3 become more prominent, then Strike would be better. And the other thing is its spammability, which makes it like a solid TC special. Like on TC, I think this goes a tier up. But that I can say that about other specials. Like in Rainmaker, Inkjet goes a tier up, for example. In zones, maybe Rain goes a tier up in zones, for example. Booyah goes a tier up in TC. So, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I do think they have to just give it the ability to swim, and then just compensate in, like, special output. I'll talk about it in its own video, though, on the main channel, so. That's where I think of it right now. I kind of think Chump is actually here, too. Like, I think Chump is a bit underrated still. Because it doesn't really have the problems of Strike. The main thing is it's kind of like Whale, where it's not as powerful. But, like, it doesn't do anything wrong. It's very quick to use, and so I think it's pretty solid. Like, it's quick, you get your main weapon back. You can get it a decent bit because it's on Zap. I think the main issue is just that the chumps aren't that threatening. But if they made the chumps a little bit better, then I think it would be really good. Like, I think it's pretty damn close. And in zones, I think it's actually useful. Because in zones, the chumps are somewhat threatening. Because in zones, if you don't, like, destroy the chumps, they'll paint the zone. And the chumps do paint, like, some of the best out of any special. So in that mode, it does kind of force you to deal with it. Jay, well, thank you for the tier 1. Why is Tri-Strike a B? I talked about it earlier. You'll have to go back on the stream or the VOD. Because I have a lot to go through, sorry. But yeah, I think these are all, like... I could see them being higher, but there's still a sizable gap to me. Forcing the opponent to stand still rather than move forward. Kinda. It's more... I just see them as more like mini shields for your team right now. This is not going to be a main channel vid, no. I talked about that at the start. Okay, C tier. Tacticooler. So Tacticooler, Stamp, and Kraken all go here. I think these are all specials that have, like, a little niche thing they're good at, and that's it. So, Tac, I think, is good for a few maps, and Rainmaker. Rainmaker is mainly the place where I think you would run this, or you pick it on Tri-Slosher because Tri is just that good. So I think Tacticooler is kind of for that. It helps with regroup, but it's still, like... Tac does not really do anything to any of these other specials. Like, at all. You just offended 70% of the Splatoon community? Oh, that's okay. People will hate me anyway, so I don't care anymore. So, Tactically doesn't really do anything to other specials, and it doesn't help you with the maps. It's just nice for regrouping, which in Rainmaker is actually useful. Everywhere else, not really. And then there's a few maps like Flounder. Tac still gets decent use, but that's because Tac is on Tri Nouveau, which is a godly main weapon and a godly sub-weapon, and the special has synergy with it. So, like, it's good enough to carry Tacticooler, basically. Stamp? Stamp low-key got buffed way more than I thought after the recent patch. Like, when I looked at it, I was like, okay, but it's still, like, just dies when people shoot at the front. And realistically, that's still the reason it's not here. Like, Stamp would need to protect you from the front to go here. Without front-wide protection, I think it's going to cap off around this tier. Like, I don't see it going higher than this without adding extra protection. However, the throw mode is still good. It actually breaks objects now, so that's kind of useful. The rush mode does have a lot of range, so the thing is, even if the stamp is up close and dies, a lot of times it actually gets damage on people that's pretty easy to follow up on. The reason I say it's niche is because when you put this on a very fast weapon that gets a lot of them and can use it against objects, it becomes pretty good. Basically, this is good on Wiper. Like, this special works for Wiper and nothing else. Nothing else that has Stamp actually works with it. If they gave it the ability to protect from the front, it would be good on everything else. But, like, Wiper is the only thing that plays to everything Stamp is good at. And to make Stamp, like, viable right now, you have to play to every little thing it can do. And Wiper is the only thing that can do it right now. Nothing else fits. This is your only option. So, Stamp's potential is here with Wiper only. Okay, Kraken. So, why is Kraken this low? Well, first off, Kraken's not really doing too well in terms of just functioning as a special normally. In terms of, like, against actual good teams, it does not get a lot of kills. It's only very niche situations where it does very good at that. Such as dealing with, like, Hagglefish, for example, where all the specials are ground level. Because anytime you can have a special on any form of elevation, this thing no longer deals with it. Like, if you have Crab on the Hagglefish tent, this thing does nothing to it. But if Crab's on the floor, then Kraken deals with it. That's the spot where I think Kraken is actually good, is when things are on ground level with it, it's very good at dealing with other specials. Mainly Crab. But, like, also, like, Wave or Bubble, and even Booyah can deal with. But when it can't do that, it's just way too easy to paint around and avoid. And, like, yes, you're running from a Kraken, but also someone is being the Kraken. It is not this, where you are running from missiles, all three of your teammates are also running from missiles, and the entire team is running at you. This is one person is running away from you, and you are running at that person. The difference when it's a special is that this thing can go in, murder a special, and keep doing other things. So, like, if there's double Crab popped, you can use Kraken on it. And then the Kraken will be one of the only specials that doesn't explode in that area. The difference with that, though, is that you should never be in that situation. If the enemy team is popping 2 Crabs against you, it already fucked up. And yes, this is competitive tier list. Solo queue, this special's like here. In solo queue, this special's very good. In team play, it's just way less good. And the other thing is, the cheese it could do with objectives was really good. So all of these have had a niche. Kraken's is Clam Blitz. Clam Blitz is where it's still very useful. Giving Kraken jumps is still very stupid. So, like, this thing can still shred objects and as a throw. This thing is still a Rainmaker special. This thing is a Clam Blitz special. Kraken is worse than Stamp. I did not say it's worse than Stamp. The tiers are not ordered. Nothing in these tiers are actually ordered. They're just in the order that I talk about them. So this is the same to me. I do think that it is easier to make this good than this good. Because I think the devs are going to be very afraid to buff this special. And I think it's very hard to buff this special. That being said, I don't know if they're going to give the stamp full frontal protection either. I figured they would do it at least a little bit because it's on so many short-range weapons, but they haven't done it yet, so I don't know. But, like, if they, like, this thing swimming slightly faster is here. This thing protecting from the front is here. So, like, this could definitely be better long-term. Like, I will not be surprised if in the near future, Stamp is better than Kraken. With that being said, now we can, add a tier. Or actually, I don't even think we can anymore. To be honest, I think these are the same. Because both of these are just cheese, and nothing else. Like, the more I think about it, this is the same thing. This cheeses zones caps, and this occasionally cheeses pushes. Sure, tier list? That would take way too long. Also, the gap is too tiny for me to care. I think these are honestly the same. Like, this just occasionally cheeses, but other specials are more valuable. This occasionally caps zone now, but other than that, dies. And the only time Slider goes in and doesn't die is like 10% of situations, or you could have just done something with the main gun and done just as fine if you're playing Tetra. I don't know why you would be picking any other Reef Slider weapon, unless if you're, again, cheesing zones with Aerospray and, like, Makeup Art. Or on the list is Cooler 2. Cooler 2 is an X tier special. God damn it, now I can't drag it off the list. What have I done? Wait, maybe if I add a row below and delete it, I can get rid of Cooler 2. If I do this and then delete, do you go back? Yay, there we go. Figured it out. Cooler 2 is gone. But yeah. But I think this is interesting. Like, everything A and above I'd consider good. Like, there's definitely a gap between S and A. And there's a good gap between B and C as well. I'd say B and C and A and S have a little gap, but the big gap is here. So, like, I want to see these specials getting changed. Mainly, these two need to get better. But I would also like it if they made Stamp better. But, like, this and this are the most important things. Making Tri-Strike and Chump, like, up here or here is very important to me. Because I think that helps out a lot with entry tools. I'm sorry, those showing up late, you'll have to watch back the VOD. I do not have all the time in the world, because we also have to talk about all of these. Minus the Salmon Run Grizzco weapons and Rainmaker in here. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, this is just... I'm gonna just label this cheese. That's all it is. This is the cheese tier. It's all it does is cheese. Have you proposed a chump buff? Have them land closer together and have the explosions be larger. That's what I think you should do with chump. You could also make them blow up a little bit faster, but only a little bit, or else then it becomes a problem. Like, not a problem for the user, a problem for your team can't capitalize off the chumps because they blow up before they get there. Yeah, let people swim with this and then give it a cooldown, like Chump and Missile has, and I think it'd be like here or here. It won't be as good as this. Oh yeah, while we're talking about this needs to go down. This tier should not exist. This is the too good tier. This is where Crab used to be. This needs to be knocked down a peg. The problem is I don't think they're gonna know that until they put Missile on a good weapon and it becomes its own meta. I have a very bad feeling that we will have a Missile meta because they eventually just put it on something good and we have to deal with it. But this needs to go down here too. This is like the absolute best a special should be. Like, Crab is the absolute upper end. Nothing should be better than this. And Missiles is right now. Missiles needs to go down here. These tiers all need to go up. Like, A tier should probably be the absolute worst specials are in an ideal world. But for the best, this cannot be this good. Everything in S plus and S is probably perfectly balanced. Maybe make Booyah not able to, like, stall as much, but that's it. This needs to go down, though. It really needs to go down. I'm very scared for if they put Missile on something. Hopefully they just never put it on anything ever again, though. I don't think Crab needs further nerfs, but I wouldn't hate it if they, like, if they knocked Crab here, I would not be upset. Like, if they touched it a little bit more so it went down here, cool. I don't care. That's fine. If they don't, I'm fine with that too. Main thing is this needs to go here at the minimum. Preferably, if they don't know how to balance the special, they should put it down here. If they aren't going to figure out how to balance the special to be cool, then it needs to be complete garbage. So that I never have to see it again. How do you buff Zip? I would give you the ability to squid roll immediately immediately when you land on an object. Missile Snipe Rider? Please no. Anyway, let's talk about the main guns. We'll actually rename things here. Okay. Best weapon in the game. It's still this. It's fair now, but it's still this. Like, this is not its own tier anymore. But, like, it's still good. It should probably be 210 or 220 still. But everything else is fine. This is with their kits. I don't care about mains only. That's not an environment that exists. The specials and subs only are relevant to how you rank the kits. Anyway, splash here. But I don't feel comfortable giving Splash its own tier anymore. So here's the things that I think share with it. Wiper and Stamper, absolutely. I've always been a proponent of Wiper, and Stamper is still very strong. I think some people are overrating the Stamper buff, like some people think it's a tier below. I think Stamper is totally fine, but like, it's still plenty good enough to be here. If Splash falls off a little bit more, this will probably be a tier lower, but for now, it's totally fine. So, Stamper up here. Little Sword is very good. I've talked about Little Sword being good so goddamn much that I don't even feel like talking about it anymore. Machine. Machine's still up here, but again, it's getting a little bit lower. And then the other weapon here is the actual new one to talk about, which is Heavy. If I had to order these, that's my order. That's top 5 this tier is ordered. None of the others. This will be my top 5 weapons in the game. Splash we've talked about. Heavy is very good. Heavy is nearly impossible to kill in these maps without another backline, and other backlines aren't as good right now. Wavebreaker functions as an approach tool with this thing. Heavy with Wave can shred pretty much everything. Heavy with Wave is, like, doubly impossible to rush down. How are you going to kill that thing? It gets a ton of Wave. It paints very well. It paints far away, so it doesn't interfere with other weapons. It's just very strong. And it doesn't have any problematic matchup. It's fine against HP specials. Like, there is nothing there. It's possible Heavy over Tetras. I really do wonder why Tetras would be so much lower. Anyway. Wiper has a decent special. One of the best main weapons in the game, if not the best main weapon in the game. Plays to a good object shredding niche. Cool. Machine is Machine. This is new. I'm not talking about it. Stamper. Slightly worse, like I said. That is my top tier. 100%. Below that is where things start to get a little bit interesting. Doesn't E-Liter kill Heavy? Yes, but here's the thing. This is not a 1v1 game. So, other people, like, can deal with the E-Liter. You know, you can have a machine that'll booyah it. Or a bunch of bombs. Or a crab. And then the Heavy just doesn't deal with it. And it'll live. Okay, let's get to the tier below. Other good weapons. So, here's where your Tetra can go. Tetra is still, like, pretty good. So, here you go. Tetra. Yay! Clap, 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 Tetra. 52. Where is 52? Where is this gun? Right here. Yeah, 52 is still probably here. I'm just gonna put all the weapons on. Actually, Brush not there. This might be this good. I think Zekofin's pretty underrated, honestly. I think I'll put Zekofin here. Yeah. Okay. This would probably be my next tier. T-Tech is not that good. Carbon Deco is also not that good. Definitely not. Dually Squelchers, they're okay. I'll talk about them. These are all a bit more situational, but I think they're still really good. Like, I think all of these function as weapons and are, like, good at what they do. This is the only good tri-strike weapon to me, because I think you just fight with the strikes and you're fine, because you don't have to worry about a lot of the problems I mentioned there, so I think strike works okay on this thing, still. Whereas Splash Neo? Splash Neo's overrated as hell. We will talk about that. I think the main and sub combination of Tri is really that good. Like, I really do. And then Gal is Gal, and Tetra is Tetra. We've kind of known about this. S. Okay, now we can start dumping a lot of weapons. Get you, we can get you. We can get you. Why is there another splash? Oh, it's the old look. I get it. Okay. This is the before they added the model change. That's why there's two splashes. Okay. Yeah, this thing, even though no one plays it, is still that good. Ballpoint. Carbon. I'm forgetting something. Oh, E-liter. Yeah. Sorry guys, let me just check something real quick. Okay. Got Neo Splash Copium. I did not. That weapon's terrible. Where's Vunder? Yeah, guys, where's Vunder? Nah. Okay. Zones niche. Works great with specific comps. Works pretty well as, like, different options you can run. Extremely comp specific but broken main weapon with a good special. Very good weapon. Mainly you play this in Rainmaker over Heavy if you want. ZF is too high. I mean, I could see ZF here, but I'm a bit of a ZF believer, so I'm going to put it here. Because I think ZF isn't that bad. Carbon here. Obvious. Bazooka. And then Leader. Just this, but way more situational. Okay. Then we start to get into the last tier of weapons I consider actually good. So, Dually Squelcher, Dually. Maybe Copium for Rapid Deco. You know what? I'll give Rapid Deco some Copium here. I'll believe in C-Jet too, maybe. Yeah, I'll believe in C-Jet here. I think it's got a niche. T-Tech. Kaboom Bucket. Not. Tri-Stringer. Yep. I think that's everything. Okay, last good tier. Alright, fine. I'll put Splash here. Splash is worse than T-Tech. The tiers aren't ordered, but Splash is worse than T-Tech. This thing is a better bomb. It's a better main gun. Yeah, no slasher. Yeah, we'll talk about Bucket. Yeah. Pretty good object shred niche, but incredibly difficult. Good main weapon with a good kit, just not as much synergy. Zones. Tri-strike spam for tower control. Better Neo Splash, but doesn't play as well in TC. Basically just a bunch of annoying things at the same time. Copium, because Inkjet and the main weapon's not that bad, and the sub is kind of useful. Aggressive Crab option, and really good, but its damage per second is awful and its kill time is really inconsistent. But it also has Splat Bomb, Wavebreaker. Like, this thing with a few buffs could just go here. It's so close. Like, just give it a little nudge. It deserves it. It's a very hard weapon. Like, people who play it deserve a little bit better. So, yeah. Alright. Let's put our gap here. Also, you know what? Rapid Deco goes down. Nah, it's not that good. Range. Yeah. Tetras? Dude, they're right here. No. I guess this can go here. Not yet. This one's okay. Actually, this one's not that okay. Yeah. I kind of believe in bamboo, actually. Okay. Alright. I gave up on the rapid copium. Range is honestly kind of not awful. It's not, like, great. It's a decent weapon, but I think it can actually kind of win things on tower. Like, I think this is a real tower weapon. Mainly because Wavebreaker is very strong. Like, Wavebreaker is really, really good, and it's also synergizes with this better than every other weapon. Like, it's good with heavy. It is stupid with this. Like, you just hit people and they die. Or they jump and then you get a free direct. So yeah, this is like a flounder and tower control weapon. And Ninja Squid's not as hard to counter to it as it is on the start of the game. The main thing is you just cannot do Intensify with this thing. You need to play Special Saver. That's where this thing becomes okay. Because you need to get Wave Breakers. Getting Wave is when this thing becomes scary. So you have to have Wave Breakers. Without giving up your aggression too much. And that's where I think it's okay. This would be higher if it didn't have Bubble. This would be higher if it had a bit better object damage. This would be all the way over here if Strike was good. But Strike just doesn't work for this thing at all right now. Like, every position Bucket wants to play, you can't pop Strike on. Everywhere you are where you want to pop Strike is not where Bucket wants to be. Because it'll just die. That's the problem. There's no, like, synergy. Like, Bucket will go in, it'll get kills, and then it'll get its special, and then it wants to use its special to keep going. Like, that's what Soda did. Like, Soda would throw a bomb, it would walk in, it would get kills, it would burst launch, and it would keep going. This thing has no way to keep going. Like, you go there, you pop Strike, and then you die. Or you go there, and you don't pop Strike. Or you go there, and then you walk back, and then you strike, and then you walk back in, and you lose way too much time. So it's just not worth it. This thing has Dart, and Zipcaster's kind of inconsistent. On paper, this has the better special and it's 180p. But the sub means getting in is a bit too difficult. And the special's value is not super consistent because it's not amazing of a special. So I don't think they're any different in the end of the day. This is okay, I guess, but I don't know why you would pick it over Nuvo. If you are playing for Inkjet, you can't do it with this thing because it has mist. So just pick this. But like on paper, it's still a bucket with a jet. So, whatever. Yeah, these will be good later. If they buff Zipcaster and Line Marker, and if they buff Tri-Strike, these will go up. The main weapons themselves are fine. Zimmy, Bubble. Bubble and Mist. That's it. Clamblitz Niche, and Hagglefish. Zones. This is still good on zones, honestly. Like, you can really make the special work fine on zones. The thing is, I don't think we'll ever see it, because all the players who could play this, and you can play this everywhere and this on one mode. But in theory, I think this on zones is totally fine. Okay. So what are the weapons that barely squeak out a niche? Zip Brush would probably be here. I guess Galuga. Roller. Junior. Hydra. We'll talk about Reflux. Swig. C Junior. Okay. I was debating how I'm going to end off this list. I think this is what I'm going to do. Okay. So, C is barely has a niche. Kraken on Flounder. You know, there's a Flounder weapon. Rainmaker Cheese. Wavebreaker Spam. Zones Cheese. Zones Cheese with Missile. This thing still can't fight reliably enough. That's the consensus, by the way. If it can fight more reliably, it'd go up. So there's another weapon that I think has a future, but not there yet. Some maps it's okay on, like Scorch Zones. Bomb spam again, but just different. I'll just put these next to each other. It's a roller. The main weapon of roller is actually, like, pretty good if it gets in. So, like, if you run a comp to get a roller in, it's kind of worth it. Yeah, Swig is not even bad. Like, this is a really good main weapon. The only reason it's here is because it has Ink, Vac, and Wall. Like, guys, I don't know how to tell you this, but Swig with the real kit is, like, here. Swig with the real kit is here. Ability to defend itself, chip damage at a distance, best paint in the game, burst paint, special output, decent ink efficiency. This is here with the kit. The reason it's all the way here is because it has ink vac and wall. Define real kit. Anything B and higher, plus anything S and higher. Anything S and higher, anything B and higher, and swig is here. At the lowest. It's not even picky. The main weapon's good. Like, it's really good. How big of a gap are we talking? Not too big, but like, these are weapons I could see you picking and winning regardless. This is like, occasionally you pick it a few places and can do well. And then here is just, this is the other gap. This is gap 2. Like, this is your niche. This is your good. Great. I don't know why you would pick these, but some people will. This is your great, good, but you can only run one of, mediocre, terrible. Like, this is still mediocre tier. And then sub-weapons, I didn't really put one, but like, if I had to put one, it would be here. This is your gap. Any of these subs, I don't question you, but you don't want too many of these. These, I don't care. These, yeah. That's probably where I put the gaps. Like, if I had to be a bit picky with it. VIP, by the way, so I can read your message a bit easier. Yeah, like, the gaps aren't that bad, all things considered, but they do exist. But, like, for how early we are into the game, I think they're honestly not that bad for where the gaps are. Anyway, below this. There's no reason to have a bubble and a blaster. No reason to pick the main gun. But it has an okay kit. I guess if you get in, this does things. This kit is terrible, but the main weapon's okay. You could do funny respawn Punisher things with this on Flounder. You could cheese funny zone on Mako. You can make an argument for Rainmaker. I guess object damage. I guess the main's not that bad. And sometimes stamp with it is funny. Here's why Snipe Rider is here. The main weapon's actually not that bad. The main gun is kind of scary. So I can kind of see it. It's just that the kit is awful and the main gun is not good enough to carry. Booyah spam. Infinite location to keep your opening gambit going forever. What? This thing has splatter scope range. Like, splatter scope range, and it deals, like, enough damage to combo with mostly everything now. Like, it's very easy to just get tagged by a Snipe Rider and die. To just something else. Like, the Snipe Rider just hits you, and then the rest of the coordinated team just kills you. That's what it does. And then it's very hard to kill it. Like, a good Snipe Rider player is hard to take down. The problem is just if they're not actively coordinating with kills, which require other teammates, you don't do anything, because you farm cooler. Anyway. I guess Booyah on a shooter. By the way, if this thing was 190, I think it'd be here. Like, I think Forge would be all the way here if it was 190. And then L3 is same thing as Mini. Everything here, I think there's zero reason to pick it. Like, everything in this tier is not equal to each other. Like, Brellas are absolutely way worse than most things in this tier. But, like, why would you pick any weapon in this tier in any competitive setting? Not using it thinks it's good. Because Roller is a better weapon than people give it credit for. People forget how stupid of a weapon Roller is when it gets in. Like, you just get one shot over obstacles. Like, whether it be small things like the Rainmaker checkpoint or under ledges, and it's extremely difficult to deal with and move. And its kit is perfect for it. Like, the curling will get you there, and then the bubble will keep you there and make it even more annoying to move. The problem is getting in is hard. You need a comp around roller. But if you have a dedicated roller player and 3 good weapons with it, it's totally fine. Like, you can win. Hell, if bubble weren't screwed over, it'd probably be here. It's not that far off. But, like, there's no reason to pick any of these. None of these weapons have a reason to be picked. So, like, even these, you're on extreme copium. But I could see them being picked in a game and not hate it. This has no reason. There's nothing. There's no reason to pick any of these weapons. There just isn't. There's no, like, at all. These don't work. This has no kit. This is, like, absolutely worse than a special. Stop comparing it to Dark Tetra? I mean, even if I'm not comparing it to Dark Tetra, why would you pick it? Like, what are you picking it for? To have a Dapple? With a bomb and a brief slider? That's not a reason. The main weapon isn't good. The sub has better options it's on, even if we're not talking about Tetra. And the special is shit. Dark Tetra could not be in the game, and this thing would still be here. Like, Dark Tetra is just the nail in the coffin. But, like, you could take it out of the game and it's still here. Yeah, Reef Slider cheeses zones. That's it. Forgot to rank the Rainmaker. Yeah, Rainmaker is pretty fucking strong, guys. Octoburst with Autobomb Kraken would be higher. For sure. Yeah, the main weapon of GoTuber is just awful. There's no reason to pick it because the main weapon of GoTuber is terrible, and if you want missile spam, there's another weapon. Actually, where is GoTuber? Is GoTuber not in this list? Hold up. Is GoTuber missing? Oh, next to Vunder. Sorry, I forgot about this thing. Yeah, before you had Torp spam, but now if you want Torpedo, you have this. When the game first came out, this was not a thing you would pick for Torps. So Goo was okay. But now this exists. So if you want Torp, just pick a Wiper. Like, you can just do Wiper Flingza, and then you get the Torp and the missile. So why would you pick the Goo, ever? Because Flingza Wiper has really good synergy with each other. The Flingza paints for it, the missiles chain well with it, especially with the special buff, all of that. And guys, this is coming from the dude who got top 4 with GooTuber. Like, I have the highest results with GooTuber in the Western scene, and that will never change. Which is hilarious, because I don't give a fuck about this gun. But, like, technically, I probably am going to have the highest results with this thing in the Western scene ever. Which is so funny. And it's not even anything special. All I did is throw Torps and missile. To be fair, I did tap shot Shinex's Inkjet to death. So that part was impressive. I'll give myself that one. I did tap shot an Inkjet to death. Which is really funny, too. But, like, this thing's down here. All in all, though, this balance is not bad. Like, healthy amount of top tiers. Lot of different classes up here. Decent bit of options you could pick as a niche that, like, have uses. And most of the stuff down here is pretty fixable long term. So, like, this is pretty good. The majority of specials in the game are, like, or not the majority, but, like, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, majority. 9 is barely a majority, but the majority of specials in the game are useful. And a lot of these down here are very fixable. I'd say the special weapon balance is the worst part, just also the least relevant. And even then, like, that's only 5 subs down here. Like, the balance of the game is pretty good. Like, obviously this could be better, and I think it will be better, but, like, this is pretty good. That's why I say the main thing is more kits. Because look how many weapons are up here with only, like, what, 22 kits in the game? When every weapon has a second or third kit, imagine how many guns could be up here if the game even retains this level of balance, let alone gets it better. So, like, I don't know if some parts of this video came across as negative, but, like, overall, this is looking pretty good. Yeah, the maps are the actual problem, but yeah, that's my overall thoughts on this. So, yeah, we got through it in an hour, and that's what I think of the meta right now. I will do a more comprehensive and thought out tier list for the next season, because that'll be main channel content. But for now, have fun, second channel.